repository pattern is a very old pattern. A lot of people don't really like it, especially in the .NET space, because it tends to get out of control rather quickly. But since we're doing things modularly with Node, it tends to fit really well. So before, if you recall, we were stubbing the find method, and that doesn't really make much sense. Let's get explicit and make this thing a repository. And if you notice here, I'm trying to get the current mission. That doesn't make much sense. Let's rename it to get mission by launch date. And that way I can send in a launch date that I would expect. In addition, we need to have something that inserts a mission here. So let's create a method that's explicit. Create next mission. Very nice. I always like things when they're a little bit more explicit. Okay, get mission by launch date. For this, we just need to pass in the date. We don't need to have any arguments that can be changed. So let's be explicit. We expect a launch date. And there we go. And if we don't find a mission, I'll need to create a new one. And so I'll use the create next mission method on our new repository. All right, well, let's go back over to our tests. Now I just have to stub that new method. Let's see if it works. Running our tests. Yep. However, if you've been watching closely, then you'll notice that, well, this test is really not doing what it says. My stub is yielding an object with an ID of 1. That is not testing to see if the mission is created if it doesn't exist. It does exist. Our stub says it does. Oh, you can back yourself into problems easily this way. Well, if we change it to null, which means the mission doesn't exist, well, we have a timeout problem. That is because we are not stubbing create next mission. It is being called, and that callback is not firing. So that means we need a new stub. That means that we need to create the next mission, and in here, we can put a new mission and just leave it empty for now. It would have been really easy for me to miss that. Sometimes mocking and stubbing can be a great benefit, but other times, if you don't quite pay attention to what you're doing, you can back yourself into a corner. I'm going to talk about this a lot later on. For now, here is a properly mocked DB repository. That makes me happy. The repository pattern, as I mentioned before, is very powerful. But if you try and use it over a large code base, man, the thing can spiral out of control. And next thing you know, you have overlapping repository methods. In our case, since we're using the module pattern of Node, it keeps things kind of small and contained. So I am okay using the repository pattern here. In fact, I think it fits quite nicely. All right, well, with all of this talking, I forgot to run my test to see if it would actually work. Let's do that. Whoops. Looks like I forgot to reference our mission module. I can do that really fast. Drop in the mission, and let's run this again. Yay! Everything works as we'd expect. And I feel a little bit more confident about these tests this time. Well, we're almost finished with stubs, but let's take a look at one of the best parts. Down below here, notice the code that I can write. I want to be sure that get mission by launch date is called. So I'm going to do it in the same way that I used the spy before. And it works. And this is something to remember about Sinon. Spies are the first level. Stubs are kind of the second. They're just like spies, but they actually return something. In fact, as you can see here, I used it exactly as a spy. In fact, having this functionality exist is going to help me write a few more tests. This is good tooling. I like it. Okay, well, let's rename our feature to mission planning. And then we'll have two scenarios here. No current mission. And then if we do have a current mission, I want to test both possibilities. We have the first scenario covered already with our existing stubs. So what I'll do is I will just copy this down below and put it in line. And here I'll just return a new mission when get mission by launch date is called. So I'll just restub our DB instance. But I want to be sure that something comes back that I expect. So rather than just returning a brand new mission, how about I return an object with an ID of 1000? That way I can return mission 1000 down below and I can have a better test. So running this, we've got a problem. Attempted to wrap get mission by launch date. Oh boy. Turns out with Sinon that you can't actually wrap a method twice. Moreover, if you take a look at the test I actually wrote, I'm just testing that my mocking framework works. It doesn't really do much for me, does it? I'm not exactly happy about this, but let's solve one problem at a time. Sinon is choking on this because it doesn't want to magically decide which stub to use when. So just because I stubbed it in that before block, well, Sinon doesn't know that. So it's not going to make that choice for you. Instead, it's just going to throw if you try and do it twice. It's trying to tell me gently, dude, you're doing it wrong. So there's a way to unwrap it, and that's by using restore on my wrapped object. Solving problems with more code. Oof, I don't like this. I'll fix it later on. For now, let's just see if that is actually going to work. And it does. Now I just need to go back and tweak my assertion. So down below, I'm asserting that it returns mission 1000. So let's make sure we do an assert.equals here, and we'll say current mission.id is 1000. Well, at least it works. That's a good thing. But have a look at this. It returns mission 1000. And I'm asserting that the current mission ID is 1000. So that's validating that my mocking framework is indeed working. And down below, we're making sure that get mission by launch date was called. That's good too. But this test right here smells really bad. And as I said before, you want to feel good about the tests you write. Looking at this, I just don't feel very good about it. I'll have to fix that.